Been a busy day here on.
Nothing but worry.
I'm Lance Ash, and we shouldn't have to say that anymore. And this beside me on the sofa of destiny is my wife Bonnie,
Mrs. Lance Ash.
and we have a few topics to go over today. Well, first of all, yeah, it has been a busy day, and a shitty week because the post office is run by morons. All right, we okay. First of all, Bonnie got a Sam's Club membership a couple days ago, and there's been a Sam's Club in Athens for
30, 40 years.
yeah about 34 years, and when it first opened, I've never had a membership, and when it first opened, I used to go over there once in a while with a friend of mine, and we'd walk through the store, and this place was just full of free samples. You can have lunch in there, just old ladies passing out pieces of this and that. Anyway, so I haven't been in there in 30-something years. So I go with Bonnie today to go pick up a few things over there. And I got to tell you, I was totally overwhelmed by the consumerist overabundance and waste that's represented by that store. And it just really made me depressed about the whole downward slide that we're all heading towards. Now, what do you got to say about that?
Well, I guess I should explain that I've used Sam's Club services for the last couple of decades because my dad has a membership, and I buy bread flour in 25-pound bags and parchment paper, like 1,000 sheets at a time, 1,000 feet at a time. I bought it because, well, we're kind of like preppers, aren't we? I am. We keep 3 to 6 months food supply on hand, basically.
Well, it's not only that.
But I also shop online, and I price compare, and I've always done that.
We're not blessed with a bunch of money, so we have to shop and
Thrifty.
yeah, thrifty.
When the kids were little, we were really, really poor. And we had some friends of ours that would come over, and you'd think that they could have contributed something every once in a while, but they became the moochers. At one point, I opened the pantry at our old house, and we're single income. I'm a stay-at-home mom. I've got 2 toddlers running around. And I open the pantry and I pull out a bag. And one of the 2 of them says, "What's that?" I said, "This is our meal planning." I said, "When we buy everything, I have to set aside our meals in advance. Inside the bag is what we need for the meal. And if, there's a tag on it, it means I need to add something from the fridge, fresh, whatever." And you would think that they would have gotten the message that we're mooching off of you. But they never did. They never contributed anything. But still, we wouldn't turn somebody away for food. So even when they were little, the kids were little, we were constantly having to pinch pennies. And so I became this thrift queen. And I had this goal of, like, when we went to the grocery store, trying to get as many things as possible under $1. So that if we got $100 worth of food, I wanted to have more than 100 items on the bottom of the list. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, so now we're better off. Not by much in this crappy economy. It's not the Biden economy, it's the Trump economy. And so I look at everything price per pound. And I just thought Sam's Club finally would be worth it for us.
Yeah, well, the thing is, um, it's not just the products themselves that are in there. It's all the packaging. And then there's the disposal of the packaging. And there's the fuel to transport it, to make it, and then to transport it there. And there's all the water that goes into doing all this. And I told Bonnie, you can go off grid and live in a little homemade shack up in the mountains somewhere, but you're still part of the system. It doesn't matter what you do. The whole world is part of this, and it's untenable and it's unsustainable and it's going to collapse soon, and there's going to be horrible calamity as a result.
One of the reasons that I had avoided Sam's Club for so long is that I didn't go and check their online site. I didn't even know it was available until recently. But one of the reasons I avoided it was this idea that you would buy 24, 36, 72 of something that was individually packaged, like all these little bitty Nutrigant grain bars and mini packages of chips and stuff. And so when I realized they were online and I could price check everything, I make everything, or predominantly, most of our things are made from scratch. And it's not that I don't use some pre-packaged things every once in a while, but I had avoided Sam's Club because I thought it meant going in and buying 36 of something. And like today, we went and we bought 2 pounds of broccoli, because when I compared what we got at Walmart, we would get the broccoli crowns, and I hate the stems. And these things were just we would buy the broccoli with a big trunk on it, and this was just the broccoli crowns that we bought today. And then we bought like 10 pounds of potatoes, red potatoes. Normally they come in 3 and 5 pound size. And the only thing we really bought that was truly processed were the pizzas, and it was a 3-pack, but it wasn't 3 packages of cardboard and assembled and taped together. It was one big box and then 3 pizzas within it that had plastic around them. So it was less than what we would have gotten if we gotten a pizza at Walmart.
Well, I got to tell you, I am totally opposed to plastic bottled water, but yet we buy it anyway.
Because of our son.
But what killed me was, okay, you got like, I don't know, how many were in there? 24? 40 bottles of plastic bottles of water, and then it's wrapped in plastic, and no matter what they tell you, that plastic is not recyclable. But I get out of the car, and I notice there is a trademarked slogan on the packaging that says, "Recycle for the planet." Little be trademark symbol beside it. And I thought, this is such deception. And the other thing is, the very people who go to that place, who see nothing wrong with it and revel in it and glory in it and think this should be even greater than this, are the Trump supporters. You drill, baby, drill, and all that horse shit. And
the American way of life is non-negotiable.
Yeah. And the thing is, it's not even just America. Even Europe, for all its progressiveness, they're the same way. Everybody in the first world's like this.
Well, there is something that's interesting. Online, you can find comments from Europeans or anybody who is not American whenever it comes to these shopping videos. Stop doing that, please. Okay. They have these shopping videos where people show what they get when they go shopping. And the Europeans or non-Americans are always appalled by the amount of crap that the Americans buy, because everything is high processed, multi-layer packaging, etc. And I mean,
well, the thing is, they live in such high density populations that it's they can go to the market every day and buy fresh produce and bring it home. A lot of the time it's within walking distance or bicycling distance, or they can take a train to get there and buy just, a couple of days worth of stuff and then go back. Here, everything's so spread out. Well, we got to have this giant monster vehicle to go load up with, 300 pounds of crap.
Well, we're also guilty of using too much packaging in this household. I mean, when I say we keep, 3 to 6 months of food on hand, a lot of that is boxed or canned, but it's generally the single element like canned tomatoes, a box of prepared pasta, even if it has just, chickpea flour and some kind of preservative in it, it's semi-processed. So, I mean, we can't get everything fresh, and they don't even buy everything fresh. I mean, consider the Italian brands that are sold here in America. They are canned tomatoes and pastas, for example.
Yeah. Our son works at the hospital in the cafeteria, and he forgot his, or didn't bring up.
No, he didn't take his lunch.
He didn't take a lunch, so he sent us a message saying, can you bring me something? So, okay. So we go over there. Now, that hospital,
Wait. Peter gets $10 a day to eat at the cafeteria. The cafeteria flooded because of all the rains, and the part of the building is so old. And he takes a sandwich, but he gets fruit and cheese and a dessert there. So he wasn't completely without.
But anyway, so I go into the hospital, and I've only been in like the emergency room and the radiology department. The rest of the hospital I'm not very familiar with. So I'm trying to find my way over to the cafeteria, and that place is like a rabbit warren. You're trying to figure out. Anyway, when I was for 50 years, there's been a gift shop in that hospital called the Pink Posy. Now, when I was a teenager, that gift shop, they sold used books that people had donated. It's like stuff you go and buy something for the patient. You go, I want to stop by this little gift shop and buy something to take up to the room to give it so and so. But now it's all high-end luxury stuff. They have designer bags in there, and scarves and jewelry and all this high-end crap that's been marked up 5 times more than, the price you pay at the regular store. And again, it's just unbelievable. Another thing we did today that I'm not familiar with, we bought my Subaru in April of 2023, and it has never been washed the whole time.
It's been a point of pride for Lance.
Well, I like the interior of the car to be clean, but the exterior, I really don't give a shit. I don't like the windows to be clean so you can see through them, but the rest of it I don't care about. But it finally got to the point where I'm like, I need to wash the car. So Bonnie said, well, we can go to one of those car wash things where you pull into the little drive-through thing and put the money in the machine, and then you spray the car. And I've been wary of doing this. I'm like, waste of water. But I think, okay, this will be easier than trying to use the garden hose at the house. And I was stunned at how easy it was and convenient. And it was $3 to put the soapy water high pressure spray over it, and then another $3 to run the rinse over it, and didn't have to. I didn't have to do much scrubbing at all with the rag. But yeah, it was a different, new experience for me. I don't think I've ever used one of those things before.
Really?
Yeah.
That's bizarre.
You know
the
me.
First year that Peter had his car, he and I would drive around together, and I would make him stop every month or two and use the car wash to clean off the mirrors and windows and to instill in him the idea that you should keep his car clean. Hasn't worked, mind you.
Well, Bonnie often calls me a Luddite, which is not quite accurate, but, I do avoid.
He likes Ludds. um, yeah,
Yeah, well.
you do shun a lot of things. He still goes, here, send this message to such and such on my phone. Why don't you do it? I don't know how to send a message on the cell phone. Really? I mean, I've got arthritic fingers. I'm over here looking at this big swelling on my hand that needs to be lanced because the fluid's coming out of the joints. And he's like, type this in. I'm like, yeah, these little fingers of mine are not going to work. But
I slept 3 hours this morning and got up, and we were out 4 hours?
5 hours.
5 hours? We know we weren't out 5 hours, but I was awake five
Wait,
hours
5
by the time we
hours.
got home. And so we had some other things we were supposed to do, but I was just like, screw it. Let's just go home. And so I'm going to go out alone tomorrow and take care of the other stuff.
I keep telling him, don't go out tomorrow. It's a home game, yada, yada,
Well,
yada.
that's all downtown. I'm going to go around the fringes of town.
Uh-huh, uh-huh. Nobody from out of town ever comes to the games, do they, babe?
It'll be all right.
Oh, my God.
Um,
You're going to call me and you're going to be lost again, aren't you?
no, all I'm doing is going
Take your phone with
to
you
that
tomorrow
one
in
side
case you get lost, okay?
because everything is together.
Yeah, right there at the
What's the third thing? I have to go to Trader Joe's, Kroger, and
Hobby Lobby for
that's all in the
campus.
same location. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Something interesting. Um, I was talking to Bonnie about how lately something has clicked in my head, and I'll, I'm not there yet, and probably never will be there yet exactly because it's a continual growth process. But this feeling of you need to be relaxed, and you can achieve being relaxed all the time has come over me, and I feel so much better because I'm bearing it in mind all the time to just as an inner core that you just keep balanced and still, and you can deal with everything. So I'm telling her this on the way home in the car, and she says that Alan Watts
Book.
book really helped you. And I thought, that's interesting. What have I said about it that made you think this? So expand upon that a little bit.
Well, you had mentioned that he said to maintain a positive mindset, that you can direct the way that you're feeling and thinking by trying to stay positive, etc. I don't know, you said it better at the time. But
Well, I think, there's a little bit of that. That book, like I said before, it confirmed a few things that I've suspected, and I've,
like,
well, like, you're part of the universe.
duh.
No matter if your sense of self-awareness creates an illusion of alienation from everything, as if you are a pawn on a chessboard. But the fact is, it's all part of the same game. But it's not just Alan Watts. It's also, and this sounds goofy, but it's also Mr. Rogers.
Oh,
Because, once again, and I've believed this for years, he used to say, you're special just by your being you. And a lot of conservatives and assholes want to say, well, that means participation trophies for everybody. Everybody can't be special. If everybody's special, then nobody is, as they said in that stupid movie, The Incredibles. That's not what he meant by special. Special doesn't mean you're A1, the best in the world, exceptional. Special means you're unique. And you are unique. Because nobody else is you. And nobody else is feeling and sensing and thinking what you are. Even though they want to absorb you all the time. So again, that's part of it. And I've believed these things for decades. But it just clicked over the last week or so. And even while I'm at work, this whole week at work, and I'm working frantically, inside there's this stillness, and it's an awareness. And I'm like, I've got to encourage this. I've got a toehold on this feeling, and I've got to let it take root so that it becomes habitual to always. I guess they call it mindfulness. I guess that
Yeah.
is what mindfulness is,
Yeah.
So, how do you feel about that?
Yes, Lance, you are unique, one of a kind here.
No, I mean, is that something that you try to pursue?
I try to avoid confrontation. I try to avoid getting riled up about things. And it's so easy. We were talking about this earlier today. How the internet has come up with these formulas to make certain
Yes.
they engage you by making certain that they latch onto these primal instincts, fear and anger, fear of missing out, even being left behind.
Just the other day, we were watching Ricky and Elliot, and they were
Internet
talking.
today.
Yeah, and they talked about how the whole point of this is that keep you engaged
Yeah.
with internet, keep you
Keep the
engaged,
clicks
and the
going.
best way they figured out the best way to keep you engaged is by making you angry. And the thing is, it's also for us liberals and progressives, anti-Trump people, it's dangling false hope. Because there's like, oh God Almighty, there must be 6 or 7 channels on YouTube that are anti-Trump channels that I peruse on a regular basis or semi-regular basis, and it's always, oh, we've got Trump this time, he's on the rope this time, and you're like, oh, okay, I got to see this, and it's always some horse shit.
The first time Trump was in office, Keith Olbermann had his own little YouTube channel.
That's right.
And he kept building and building and building up. And he finally goes, that's it. That's it. We've got Trump. This is it. We can impeach him. And then he went, okay, I'm washing my hands of all this. I've done my job. I've shown how it's bad. And I'm leaving. And he walked away from the internet. And all these people were left dangling.
But he said, okay, everybody, I'm ending the show because it's a done deal. It's a dead certainty that within so many months, he's finished.
Nope.
And so he washed his hands and walked away, and nothing happened.
And here we are 10
Nothing.
years later, and it is a fucking nightmare still. We cannot get rid of this asshole.
Yeah. So, I don't know. I have it on my to-do list for the weekend to listen to music more than try to find videos that engage me and
I've got 4 books to read.
yeah, well, I have to paint and draw, and I have to have something in the background, and so anyway,
I'd like to make some good, tasty food. We've got all those extra sweet potatoes today that I bought another 5-pound bag, and make more sweet potato fries, and maybe broil some more of those red potatoes, and I don't know, I was looking at those brownie recipes earlier. Those look good too. And you know what? Tea. We have all that nice tea in the tea drawer.
Mm-hmm.
Sit down with some of the herbal tea and relax with a book.
Yeah.
Just...
I think you and I ought to play a game together, like maybe
You're too competitive.
gin rummy or Scrabble or something.
You're too competitive. I mean, I just go and win. And
Well,
you sit there going, if I do this, then do I do this? And do I do... And I'm like, just move. I've gotten to the point where I'm like, get a minute timer, use it, and then it's like fast-paced chess for me, you know? I can't stand sitting there for 5 and 10 minutes where you're going, well, I've got 7 Scrabble tiles, and if I can get all of them, I can get 50 points. And
what was that movie or TV show? I can't remember. I've seen it a couple of times where there's like a teacher or something talking to this kid, and he says the kid has just participated in a game or something, and he says, so and so, I noticed that you sort of gave up there. And he says, the kid goes, well, I just sort of lost interest, and the teacher or authority figure says, when you play a game, the object is to win, to try to win. And I wish I could remember what that was. It was something. Anyway, we'll figure it out if I think about it long enough. Or if I think about it and then let it go, it'll pop in my head.
Well, it's one of the reasons I play word games, because I can do it alone and I can do it quickly. I mean, my goal is to get Wordle in under 30 seconds, you know?
Yeah.
And I've got all these other little games that I play, these clue games and such.
I'm reading a 600-page German translation of a Kurt Wallander novel.
It's the final one, isn't it?
I don't know.
I think it's the final
It
one.
says in the
where he starts to go into senility, decline.
I think it said in the introduction that this was his 10th case, and this is the one where I'm 10% of the way into it, and it's the one where he forgets his gun at a restaurant, and the next day gets called on the carpet about it, and he's like, I don't even remember taking it in there. And
Or even being there or something.
Well,
yeah.
it's like, you know.
The Wallander series starts off, you get to know the detective. He has a daughter he barely knows. He has an ex-wife. And he has a father who's a famous painter. And his father is beginning to have dementia. And so it's very fitting that at the end of the Wallander series, Wallander himself has aged through the years and is beginning to get the signs of dementia.
In this one, I believe he's 55 years old. Now, have you read any of the books?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. But you've seen the Kenneth Branagh show too.
Yeah, I saw a couple of them. They pale in comparison to the books, as most do. Yeah, the books are good reads. There are a lot of the usual tropes of child sexual predators and abuse and such, and the empty Scandinavian landscape sort of thing.
Well, I think, like I was telling you in the car, I meditated for over 7 years and never really felt that I was getting it properly. So I took 6 months away from it, or 7 months away from it, something like that, and started up again, and it clicked.
That's what's happening with the German now.
Then with the German, I started studying German on New Year's Day after I turned 40, and I studied for 14 years, and I got pretty good at it. But then I stopped because I thought I was going to start learning French, and then I really was like, oh my God, this is like climbing a mountain. So I stopped the French, and I hadn't really studied German in over a year. And I went back to it, and all of a sudden I was like, oh my God. So I think a lot of the time, and this is why I think eventually I am going to go back to French. I might just start bouncing back and forth every 6 months or so between German and French. I think you study, you work hard, you study, you practice, but then you let it go for a while. And you go back to it, and all of a sudden your brain has had time to assimilate it, sort of behind your back, so to speak. And, all of a sudden these things are clicking, you know?
Agreed.
And I just, and I think that's all part of just, and it's not indifference, and it's not negligence. It's just realizing that you have very little agency, not just in the universe and in the world, but in your own life. So you're better off just relaxing. There's this wonderful Bill Murray quote about the more relaxed you are, the better you can deal with your friends and your family and with people. The better you can do your work, and it's true. And I wonder how much I'd like to probe more into how he learned that. Is it something that just came to him naturally, or is it something he actually worked for over the years?
He's been tending bar, I think, is it at his son's bar?
Mm-hmm.
Up in Brooklyn or something? And I just wonder if being a barkeep kind of helped him out,
Well, I know that he, after he became a big movie star, he was very keen to do a movie version of the Somerset Maugham novel, The Razor's Edge, about this guy who goes to Tibet or something, and to find enlightenment and inner peace and so forth. And it was a big flop, but it was a pet project of his, a labor of love. And I'm wondering if that was reflective of him, of his own, trials for that.
Well, he was in that movie with Scarlett Johansson, Lost in Translation.
Yes, yes.
And did you see that one?
Yeah, I did.
And there's a certain quietude about it, and there's a certain resolve that he, the actor, has been brought over to Japan. He's to film this liquor commercial. And there's this certain acceptance that he has in his life. That he just kind of rolls with it. And
well, you remember they keep making him, that he only has like one line, and they keep making him do it over and over because
again.
he's not doing it right. And finally, he just learns to just to just drop any pretensions of how to do it and just say the line, Oh, Lord.
I wonder what would happen if Belushi had lived.
I don't know. His final movie was Continental Divide, which was not really a comedy. It was more just sort of a
sweet romance.
Yeah. That wasn't Blair Brown. Who was the woman in that?
I think it might have been. I'm not sure, though.
It was somebody prettier than her, I think. What? Well, by Hollywood standards,
By Hollywood standards, Holly Hunter isn't anything great. Somehow or another, Julia Roberts is better than her. I mean, come on.
She disappeared. Holly Hunter is cute as a... She's from Raising Arizona, right?
Yeah,
she's cute as a bug, yeah.
Yeah, but she's not one of these sexy, drop-dead types. And then they went and they put big mouth Julia Roberts on the cover of everything like she was the most beautiful thing ever. And I'm like, what?
Well, like Frank Frazetta said, the best thing a woman can be is cute. And
This is the guy who drew the women with the big
voluptuous,
bosom and the tiny little waistline and the big expanding hips, and then hair that just came out to here. And okay, so cute versus what he drew.
Well, the thing is, I'm trying to think of a contrast. It's kind of like I'd rather be with Holly Hunter than
Julia Roberts.
Well, no, Julia Roberts is bizarre looking. I'm trying to think of somebody that's like, oh God, I can't think of somebody.
That is what?
Like that ideal of Hollywood sex dripping off of her and glamour model type horse shit.
Well, who was that weird girl that was Trump said he liked because of some jeans ad? I don't understand.
Sydney Sweeney?
Yeah, I don't understand.
I don't know anything about her. That's flavor of the month crap, which I just let roll over my
everybody's
head.
like, oh, she's so sexy. And I'm like,
I don't know anything about her.
She's got big tatas, but take off that makeup, there's nothing there.
Yeah. But she...
I don't know.
I don't know. I can't think of anybody either. So, I don't know who current people are. You watch...
You know who was cute and sexy at the same time? Halle Berry in that Eddie Murphy movie.
Yeah.
What was that movie?
Boomerang.
Yeah, she was just absolutely gorgeous. We watched that James Bond recently with her, didn't we?
No.
We didn't?
No, we watched the Caravan of Garbage review of it.
Oh, is that what it was?
Yeah, I think that orange bathing suit didn't really flatter her. It just the
she
contrast.
Looked hot as hell. Come on.
Orange?
She looked hot. Period.
Oh, I'll tell you somebody.
Who?
Back in the 80s, everybody thought Morgan Fairchild was so
Oh gosh,
fucking...
she was just trashy.
She just... did nothing for me. She's
He
just,
was
just
trashy. He
like,
had big hair. That was it. Big hair and
yeah.
breast implants.
Farrah Fawcett was hot,
Yeah, she was.
but oh, I'll tell you somebody. This is the chick right here. This is
Uh-oh. This is going to be humor. What?
Lindsay Wagner.
The Bionic Woman?
Yes, she was perfect.
She was good looking the same way that Bailey from WKRP was good looking.
Oh yeah.
She was much better looking than Lonnie
Oh,
Anderson.
that's yes, yes.
Girl next door. And she's just
Lindsay
sexy as hell. And
Lindsay Wagner was the kind of woman, no makeup or very very little, you know, just jean jacket, jump on the bike and go down to the beach or you know go for a hike or something. Oh Lord, yeah. I wish there was a website that had pictures of um, classic television show interior or movie set interiors, because her house on the Bionic Woman, the interior of the house
good Lord.
was very 70s art person house.
What, macrame on the walls?
Yeah, that sort of thing. And I'll tell you another one.
A swing
There is,
chair from the ceiling?
I have actually seen this site, a site that has this in it, but the pictures aren't very good. God damn it, what movie was it? It was one of those Doris Day, Rock Hudson movies. It's the one where Rock Hudson is like an ad executive, and
He hires her to do his house. And she sets it up like a pimp palace.
I don't know about that, but it's the one where Tony Randall is his boss, and Tony Randall goes at the beginning of the movie, goes charging over to Rock Hudson's apartment to tell him to get his ass in line. And anyway, the interior of that, it's like an early 60s movie, the interior of that apartment is absolutely fantastic. You've got abstract impressionist art on the walls, and it's just...
Now, is that the movie where she walks into his place and turns the light on, but it's the switch that actually like lets down the bed or something, or starts the music going? And
there's Pillow Talk, Lover Come Back, and
oh God, I don't know.
the other one, and the third one is not that good, but the first two are really good.
There's one where they share a telephone line.
I think that's Pillow Talk.
Okay. I think that's the one where she redoes his apartment.
Oh yeah, I think so. Yeah.
And it looks like a sultan's harem. It's so gaudy and trashy. And she does it because he's just one of these guys that just sleeps around with anything with legs.
And the thing is, it's really amazing. He is a classic example of why stereotypes of gay men don't hold true, because he was very macho or whatever and masculine or whatever. He wasn't effeminate or mincing, and it
Was Tony Randall
apparently Tony Randall was
straight?
Apparently Tony Randall was just straight, you know, and
Interesting.
yeah, I don't know what the deal is with that. Tony Randall was in that right before he died. He was in that movie with Ewan McGregor. It's sort of like the movie is a parody of those Rock Hudson, Doris Day movies. And, oh God, what was the name of that? Who is the woman in that?
I have no idea.
It's the one where Ewan McGregor is pretending to be somebody else so he can get this chick. And she asks him what his name is, and he just grabs something off the wall. It's Zip or Zap something or another.
I don't know.
Oh, I tell you who else was in that movie. The guy who played Fraser's brother.
Okay.
You don't remember this movie?
Not really. I know that there was a throwback back in the 90s, 2000s, where they redid Bewitched and several other things.
I
They were
never saw.
trying to grab hold of the past.
I never saw the remake of Bewitched.
Nor did I.
Raquel Welch was so hot in the original one.
No, that's not. This was Bewitched, the TV series.
Oh, I'm thinking of
You're talking
Bedazzled. Bedazzled. You're right. You're right.
Yeah, and that was Elizabeth
Hold on.
Hurley or something.
Okay, but what is what they meant? I know the original.
TV show, they did a movie or something based on it. Yeah, I know.
Really? Well, I'll tell you, that brings up another one. Elizabeth Montgomery was hot business.
That picture that you can find online of her drinking a martini. Wow.
Yeah, she was. Yeah.
Wow, wow, wow.
But you know, her face wasn't very expressive. She always had this sort of mean look on her face, and that was pretty much it. One of the two guys who played her husband was gay in real life. I can't remember if it was Dick Sargent or Dick York. Whichever one was the straight one, he hurt his back really bad at some point in his life, and he was in pain for 40 years until he died. He had to take painkillers all the time. He twisted it or something. Oh, God, my knee. Oh, Jesus.
So, you haven't called your mom. Not that she's going to be able to respond.
I'm going to try tomorrow,
But I
we'll
told
see.
you, this hospice thing, it doesn't mean shit. My dad said that his mother-in-law was in hospice for over 6 months. Something insane, and she was just miserable the whole time.
Well, apparently my mother's so out of it that she just doesn't feel miserable. She's just existing like,
Well, they've got her on, was it Lexapro or some kind of antidepressant supposed to be helping with.
She's on Xanax, too.
Yeah, she's on Xanax too. Lucky lady. Lucky lady.
I've had
man.
Xanax twice in my life, and it nearly killed me both times. That shit is so powerful. I went to see Young Guns 2 at the theater with two other guys, and I took a Xanax right before we walked in, and I felt like I had been cemented to the seat.
This show's called Nothing But Worry because I named it, and Xanax takes away all the worries in the world for me. I love it. I wish to God I could be on it every day, but I know that it's highly addictive, and I'd be lucky to find somebody who'd give it to me every day. But yeah, if I could take Xanax every day, I would worry about nothing.
You remember like 60 years ago, they passed out stuff like Valium, like candy.
Yeah.
Feeling bad about your,
Mommy's
empty
little
life.
helper.
Right. Being a housewife, here, take some of this.
Yeah. Was it The Hours, the movie? They had one of the characters it was over several different generations, and one of the characters in the 60s was completely discontent in the way that her life was as a homemaker, and so she's popping the pills. I'm like, oh my God.
There's that Jules Pfeiffer cartoon. This woman says something about, I would take uppers so that when Larry got home from work, I'd be all vivacious and receptive to him coming home, and then I'd take downers to get to sleep. And one day I woke up and the medicine cabinet was empty, and I went down. My husband saw me in the kitchen. He goes, "Who are you, and what have you done with Dorothy?"
What was that cartoon where the woman is talking about her life? She's surrounded by all this crap in the house. What was it? Oh,
I don't remember.
She's ironing. The husband walks in. The kids are like hanging from the chandeliers.
I don't know.
It's like just another day in paradise.
So I had two songs I wanted to play for Bonnie in the Car, but we really didn't have time. The first one was Diary of a Madman by Ozzy, and the reason I wanted to play it was because the vocal melody in the chorus is just fantastic, and it really shows you that he was a good singer. And the second song I was going to play for Bonnie was "Slipping Away" by the Rolling Stones. It's the last song on their '88 comeback record, Steel Wheels. And for years and years and years, it's been a tradition with the Stones that Keith gets to sing the last song on the album, and it's always a ballad. And this is a song Keith sings, and it's a really great song. But on the bridge, Mick comes in to help sing backup, and his voice is so distinctive and powerful. You can hear it amongst the crowd of people singing, 2, 3, 4 people, whatever it is. I think Ron probably helped sing backup on that too, maybe. Anyway, so we didn't get around to playing much of those either. I wish we could take a long car ride. We can listen to music. Are we going to buy some more gochujang?
The Orient Mart over at Aldi on Gaines School will have it.
I mean, it's not a pressing necessity, so.
Well, I've got plenty of recipes to use it in. I have that channel, the vegan cook, Will Young, Young Man Cooking.
Mm-hmm.
And he uses it quite often in many of his recipes. So yeah, it's nice to have around. Do you know that we have red pepper paste up in the pantry?
I know. I need to.
Hey, it's sealed. It's good for another couple of years. But
I need to get that out and use it. I need to use up a lot of the stuff in the fridge, so we can.
we cleared out 1.5 of the drawers for the produce. That's the reason we went to the grocery store. I've got some carrots and green bell peppers left, and that's it. And that's why we went and got all that stuff today. We had 5 heads of the lettuce. They were the small ones, though.
A year or two ago, maybe 2 years ago, we finally bought a TV. By the standards that I grew up with, this TV's monstrous. But we go to Sam's Club today and we see TVs that are 4 times bigger, and like anywhere between $800 and $2,000. And I was thinking,
there was one for 4,000 or 5,000 up there. It was insanely large.
you talk about a digital image on a screen. I just.
Some of them looked almost 3D. They had this one image up with fish in an aquarium sort of thing.
Yeah.
And it looked like you were looking into an aquarium and you could see the depth of the aquarium and the distortion of the water and the way the fish were moving around. It was surreal. It was so real.
When we got married, I had that old cathode ray TV with the built-in VCR, and that's what we used for years.
Yeah.
But if you could take one of those big TV monitors back in time, somebody like my father would have been in heaven, because he loves to watch old movies. When I was growing up...
Yeah, he's one of these people that has a television over his fireplace.
Well, when I was growing up, we never had cable. And so one of the great advantages or selling points or appeals of going on vacation and staying in a hotel was they have cable. We can watch movies. Oh, he would almost salivate thinking about it. I remember we went to this, I don't know how old I was. We go to this hotel room and turn the TV on to see what's playing. And they're playing the old Marlo Thomas, was it Ted Bessel? Was he her boyfriend on the TV show That Girl from the late 60s, early 70s. And it's on, and my dad stops dead in his tracks and goes, "Oh, it's That Girl." And I go, "What's that?" He goes, "Oh, that was a good show. Good, clean show."
It wasn't just your father. Your mom, her earliest fond memories of childhood were taking a quarter and going down and watching 3 or 4 movies at the cinema in Monroe.
Spending all day.
And they'd have like little cartoons and newsreels in between the movies. Right. And you would pay the thing and you would just sit in the theater.
One of the ones she specifically remembered was they would have serials, like part 4 of Zorro in The Mask of the Killer, or the Cisco Kid. Not Cisco Kid. Maybe it was Cisco Kid. And you're like, what the hell are you talking about? Oh, me. I don't know. I just don't have the patience for movies much anymore.
The only reason we bought the television that we have now is because we watch the late night show in the morning when you come home from work.
Mm-hmm.
So we would sit in front of my computer and watch that together. And Reed had gotten one of those Roku TVs ages ago. And I'm like, well, she's got hers hooked up to the internet. She can go to, YouTube and do this. So we just waited until something went on sale, and I got one for less than $200. And it's, 3 feet wide? It's something ridiculously large.
It's about 4 feet wide, I believe.
Our TV's not that big, but
we
it's big enough that it fits on top of an old writing desk.
We bought a DVD player to go with it because we thought, oh, we got 80 DVDs, and we'll start watching DVDs again and watch movies. We've done it twice, maybe.
Yeah, we just don't watch any kind of videos at all.
Movies.
Movies, yeah. Sorry, DVDs. And we got rid of our VCR tapes ages ago. Reed has our old VCR tape thing because she ended up taking all the Doctor Who tapes with her when she moved out.
When I was 15, 16, I had the Atlanta PBS station would play Doctor Who on Saturday nights, late at night, and I became just obsessed with it. So I started every month. I would buy a video cassette with the money I made from either my water meter reading job or when I was a bag boy at Kroger, and I would I think I could fit 3 or 4 episodes per tape, and I would tape them. And our daughter has those tapes today, and those are 40 years old.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
And then I also got a lot of Doctor Who's from somebody I used to work with on videotape. So all those went to her as well. And then she acquired a few things that were borrowed from the modern series. So yeah, she's got the entire Doctor Who collection, and she's got all the old Doctor Who magazines, fanzines from back in the, what was it, 70s, 80s? You had them?
I know I had one.
Well, she's got more than that. She at one point took those to high school with her. This is the first and second series, Eccleston and Tennant.
Yeah.
Her friends were also watching, and they're like, "Oh my God, you've got old Doctor Who stuff."
Well, what happened was I must have been 13, 14, something like that. When our family used to go on a long car vacation, my mother would buy us stuff to keep us occupied in the back seat.
Yeah.
So she would buy these multi-packs of not very popular comic books, right?
Yeah, they come sealed in a plastic bag. It was like $5 for $1.
So she gives them to me. This is for the trip. And Marvel Comics used to have a comic book called either Marvel Presents or Marvel Premiere. And they would have off characters or stuff that they were trying out. And one of them was Doctor Who. I'm like, never heard of this. Don't know what in the hell this is. And I thought the story was pretty good. And I'm reading it. And at the back, there's a letters page. And it says, "I'm so glad that you're doing Doctor Who. Our local PBS station here in New York stopped playing it." And I'm like, oh, it's a TV show. Okay. So a year or two later, maybe, I'm watching PBS late at night. And they're playing the very first Tom Baker episode, Robot. And I'm like, oh my God, this is that show that was in the comic book.
Oh, God.
And I became immediately obsessed with it. And I got my dad liking it too. And anyway.
I remember going on long trips when we were kids. You'd be in the car for 8 fucking hours to visit family in like Tennessee and Virginia and such. And you're just going and going, and you have to stop for bathroom breaks. But in between, we had a cooler that we kept between us. It was kind of like that dividing line between kids. You can't get on my side of the car kind of thing.
Yeah.
And we had a cooler. And they would fill it up with those many cans of pineapple juice and tomato juice. And then we have bag of fruit, cut up and things like that. And then we'd have a box between us on the floor, and it would have the wheat crackers, cheese in a can, and we each had our own can of cheese, okay? Because, you can't share, because, your siblings, you gotta have one of each. But you have to share the box of crackers. And so we'd sit there and we'd try to put the cheese up as high as you could go with the can. And then our parents would also buy us the different things. One of the things they would also buy us is those magic erase boards kind of things where you would draw on it, and then there would be an image, and then you would lift up the page and it would disappear, and then you draw on it again. But we also had word games, and Mad Libs were the big ones for us. We did Mad Libs. It would drive our parents crazy. Sometimes it was, like poo-poo, or sometimes it was, Volvo next to us kind of thing. But
my
really
parents,
fun.
my parents wanted to nickel and dime every vacation as much as possible. So almost all the vacations we took when I was a kid were postal conventions around Georgia.
Oh, dear God.
Anyway, but one year we were going to take the big plunge and we're going to go to Washington, D.C. So I think it was like a week, maybe 10 days, something like that. So we drive all the way up to Washington, D.C. Oh, so expensive. Oh, so expensive. Oh,
But half the things up there are free.
So we spent maybe 2 days of the trip in Washington, D.C., and then spent the rest of the time driving very leisurely and slowly and meanderingly in a big detour around, down through Tennessee and down through
The Carolinas.
the Georgia mountains, and meandering our way. We were gone so long, we had to stop in the middle of the night at a laundromat and wash clothes in the middle of the night, almost dead asleep.
Jesus.
And I thought, you are
Idiot.
wasting all this time just driving aimlessly when we could be in Washington, D.C., spending more time at the museums.
Yeah, the Smithsonian alone takes a couple of days. And then all the different art museums. Years ago, since your parents got a divorce, your dad went to D.C. with his girlfriend. He drove her to the Postal Museum.
God.
But they also went to, I think it was the Spy Museum up there, where they have tradecraft stuff on display from all the different decades of the 1900s. And, I mean, there's so many things up there. It was touted as being the place you would go, and you could go to the museums for free and to all the different landmarks and such for free. And it just doesn't make any sense why they would have cheaped out as much as they did.
Well, I've told this story many times, but if we were going to go to an amusement park, we always went to Six Flags. And you get used to Six Flags. This is what an amusement park is, right? But we've heard for years, that Disney World, that's where you want to go. That's the big one. That's the great one. And this year they're opening Epcot. So, okay, this is the year we're going to go. So they did no research, no planning, no preparation, nothing. We drive all the way down there. Park, like, whatever it is, 5 miles from the entrance. And you got to, I don't know, I guess they had trams or something to take you over the entrance. So we're walking and walking. Now we've finally gotten there. It's like going to Wally World in Vacation, Chevy Chase movie. And we get to the gate, and over the gate they have the prices listed. And my dad stopped dead in his tracks, staring slack-jawed at the prices, shaking his head. He couldn't believe how much it was. And I heard him say, "We're going to have to go home." And it was a miserable experience because there's nothing to do in Disney World. And Epcot was a big nothing. And at Six Flags, you have rides after rides, rides for smaller people, rides for adults, and it's endless, right? Six Flags, I mean Disney World, Space Mountain, and well, here's a guy in a Goofy costume. Okay. And here's some overpriced mouse ears. Okay. And here's some dancers from Poland. Okay. So fucking what? The Knoxville World's Fair was more interesting than Disney World.
I went to the World's Fair in Knoxville, and it was a blast. Because, well, I've said this before, all the Eastern European countries showed up.
That's right.
And they brought in all of their modern technology. Well, where we lived, I had friends whose dads were farmers. And so we had gone and gotten up in the giant tractors that cost $100,000 from John Deere. They had air conditioning and radio and stuff like that, and these cushioned seats. And so I go down to see what the modern things are, and they've got the latest in the tractors from Eastern European, and all of them are clunky, and they're all kind of like a uniform color, and they're boxy, and they're bare bones, and I'm like, oh my fucking God. But they had a Chinese restaurant there that was up on a hill or something. It was positioned in such a way that it looked out over the park. I don't know, maybe it was a 2-story, 3-story thing. But I remember going up there and eating egg rolls and that hot mustard and soy sauce and having drinks and looking out over the entire thing. And it was so much fun because everything, there were all these different people and all these different exhibits from around the world. The coolest thing we saw was the terracotta warriors from China. They had a couple of those.
Yeah.
And they had brought those. But the Chinese exhibition was fan-fucking-tastic. Because they've got 5,000 years of history. And so they brought not just the modern things, and then the different cultural things like dancing and singing and music, whatever. But they have all the pottery and artifacts. And then there was a Japanese pagoda kind of thing or something.
We ate at a Japanese steakhouse there.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I thought it was kind of boring, but across the street from the World's Fair was like a commercial exposition.
Yeah.
And they had the world's largest bed in there.
And they had milk in a box.
That's right, milk in a box.
Yeah.
And my sister and I were getting free sample after free sample after free sample. Vanilla flavor, strawberry flavor. Ooh, okay.
Yeah, and it was one of those, like, it was like the juice box type of thing where you put the straw in it.
Yeah. It stays milk that stays fresh on the shelf.
Yeah. Yeah, that was one of the better experiences for going to different places. I remember I'd flown into Miami one summer, and my parents met me at Daytona Beach. We went to the beach there, and then we went inland to Epcot, and it was just like, what the hell? What is Epcot? It's a big nothing. You know what I remember? Is going up this thing to go to, was Space Mountain in it?
No, Space Mountain is Disney World.
They had some kind of thing where you would go up, and then there was a ride that went down.
I don't know.
And as you're going up, you see all the gemstones of Australia. Note the large
Oh,
oval
you
and
know
such.
what?
You remember that?
I remember that. Yeah. I'll tell you, one year that you planned out our trip to Rome, Georgia, we went to the Tellus Science Museum, which
it was fabulous.
It really was.
Yeah, they had old cars, old airplanes. They had giant earth movers.
They had dinosaurs.
They had dinosaur bones, skeletons of giant prehistoric fish and sloth, and every type of dinosaur you could imagine. They had ones that were, what are the little things we have digging up our yard out here?
Armadillos.
Armadillos. They had the giant version of that.
Glyptodons, I think they're called.
And then they also had a fabulous display of geodes and minerals and other gemstones, etc. And then they had stones that had fossils within them.
Yeah.
It was a really cool thing. At the time, it cost us maybe $60 or $80 for the whole family to go, and it was worth every fucking penny. It was the most expensive thing we did that trip, other than the hotel. And the hotel I got, based on Lance's requirement, we must have a waffle maker, and I must be able to make waffles for the family every morning. So we found a Comfort Inn Suites or something. So we had a separate bedroom from the main room, and they had a little mini kitchenette, kind of like, microwave and coffee maker kind of small thing, and a dining table, and a fold-out couch, and something else, and 2 king-size beds, and then they had a hot tub and pool. And so the first day we got there, we all went down and just soaked in the hot tub together. And we were the only people in that room. There was nobody swimming or anything like that. It was an indoor pool, which was cool. Yeah. But that's also where we went to the monument, the mounds. Etowah, was it Etowah? Etowah
I think
Mounds?
so, yeah.
Yeah, Okmulgee's and Macon. That was another trip. We went to the Etowah Mounds, and that was really cool because the rangers there did exhibits of the atlatl so that you could throw your spear even further. And then they showed you how they did flint knapping and how they would wrap the flint and attach it and make a arrow, and also how they'd make the spear. And then they took us out to one of the mounds, and there was like a recreation of one of the mounds of what it would have looked like. And then they had a small mini museum with some of the effigies there on display. And they also had the fish weirs. Do you remember this? There was a river near the mounds. Mm-hmm. And you went down, and they had the stone weirs in the river to help catch fish. Those were still in place.
Yep. All right, we have been talking for over an hour, so we need to wrap this up.
Running our mouths is too much as usual.
Well, that's the whole point of the thing, is to be rambling, discursive. All right, so I think that's about it for this week. Anything else?
No. Bye.
Make America great again. Bye.